Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey, here once again with another video on The Flash Season 7. So we are approaching the end of July, which means we are now officially under 1 month until DC Fandom, the big online event, comes and goes, which will reveal a bunch of information spread out amongst the various movies and TV shows and even more, in relation to DC. And in regards to this video in particular, we will of course get updates and news on The Flash and its upcoming Season 7 or 7th season, which we will come back to specifically later on in this video. But one of the bigger questions around just Season 7 of The Flash in general has been, when will The Flash return to, filming, for Season 7? And there has been a lot of dates chucked around, but usually they all circle back and come back around and land around the end of August to the beginning of September. That's been the rough date range that we've had in regards to when The Flash is going to return to filming. And, we now have a big update from a big trade in Hollywood in regards to all of this. So it's time to put on our swimming caps and the goggles and maybe the flippers if you need them, because it's time to dive into some information. So this article in question is coming from Deadline. They're labeling it an exclusive, so that means they've obviously got the information from a particular source. And we're pretty much going to go over all of it because it relates to, well, everything is relevant pretty much, so yeah. But of course, throughout the video, be sure to let me know your various thoughts, opinions, theories, if there is any, in the comment section down below in regards to what you think of all of this. I'm curious to hear your thoughts, and if you want to just give your 2 cents. And of course, if you're going to enjoy the video, you found this informative and anything like that, and just enjoy the Flash stuff, drop a like on it. Helps support the channel, does more than you think. But here we go. Vancouver continues to be a bright spot in the fight against COVID-19 and for Hollywood studios' hopes to safely resume filming. Production, I can't read. The situation remains fluid, but I hear Warner Brothers TV is planning for a late August start for the studio's Vancouver-based broadcast series. Because a 30-day notice to actors is required, the cast of a number of WB TV series filming in Vancouver this week received letters from the studio informing them that their services for the 2020-2021 season will commence in August, subject to SAG approval. The planned start dates, which are tentative amid a COVID-19 spike in the US, vary for the various shows. I hear they range between August 20th to the 27th. I hear the dates reflect when actors would need to arrive in Vancouver for a 2-week self-isolation required by British Columbia, the province that Vancouver is part of. Filming would start after the end of the quarantine period. So just give you a heads up in regards to that, if you landed there August 20th, you couldn't start filming until that 2-week period is up. So that's what they're sort of indicating there. The list of WB TV shows that are eyeing late August starts include most Berlanti production series which film in Vancouver, including The Flash, Riverdale, and Superman and Lois. As we previously reported, some Supernatural cast members started arriving in Vancouver earlier this month, with the show on track to start shooting its final 3 episodes in early to mid-August. It's been 6 weeks since the Hollywood unions and guilds on June 12th released their white paper of detailed safety guidelines that was to serve as a starting point and a blueprint in the negotiations with studios. After weeks of talks, progress has been made, but as of late last week, there were still multiple outstanding issues. The two sides appear to have gotten closer to a deal this week. If a union agreement on safety protocols is reached in the next couple of weeks, a handful of other Vancouver-based broadcast series, including ABC's A Million Little Things, could also start production in August, joined by a bigger contingent in September. So yeah, there's a couple of big things or big questions to take from this and just discuss. So as we always do, because we're the type of channel to do that, let's discuss it. But as I said, if you want to reply to any of these questions we go over in the comments, feel free to do so. So the big question is, when exactly would filming start? Now, as I was indicating there, they say the dates range from August 20th to 27th, but they're hearing that those are the dates that the actors would need to arrive. So I guess it would vary for the various shows. So I don't know if they're going to set the dates of, okay, we want to start filming by September 6th, so you have to be in Vancouver 2 weeks before September 6th, or they're just going to say, whenever you get here, do the 2 weeks, and then we'll start filming after that. That later one, or the latter option there, sounds really messy. You think you'd rather set the date ahead and then organize the quarantine before. So that's most likely what they're going to do there. But regardless, they're not going to start filming before September. The filming will start at some time in September, whether it's the first or second week. So that's when they're going to roughly start filming. Now, of course, they do say Flash, Riverdale, and Superman and Lois, but it says it includes most of Belanti's production. So I would probably chuck in Batwoman in there. I think Batwoman's probably going to be chucked in there, and I'd say Legends of Tomorrow. Supergirl won't start filming for a while because Melissa Benoist, from what I know, still has to give birth. And even if she has given birth now, she would only have just given birth, so she would still be in the maternity leave stage and recovery stage. So they won't be doing Supergirl for a while after, maybe not until November or December, or maybe not even until January next year. So Supergirl is like a non-entity for a bit. As I was saying before, DC Fandom is soon. DC Fandom is on August 22nd. I would find it extremely strange if DC Fandom was to cause a late arrival to this. I would assume that if they're gonna be doing their quarantine, like they're gonna get there on August 20th for Flash, they'll pre-record the panel. By the sounds of it, most of DC Fandom is going to be pre-recorded, and only a little bit of it is going to be live streamed by the sounds of it, similar to what they did at Comic-Con at Home, because it just eliminates any technical issues for the most part. So if you record it in advance, you cancel that all out. So I'd assume most stuff is going to be recorded in advance, outside of maybe some live announcements or something. But I can see Flash filming in advance as well, because I doubt they'd want to do live streams via hotel internet if they are in Vancouver at that stage. Another question, when would they film until? Now, April is pretty much the good date to give roughly for now. A show like The Flash and even Superman and Lois and maybe even Batwoman, for example, could extend into May if they do start in that early September range. Like Supergirl, for example, will probably film, I don't know actually, they might film around the same time because they might have less episodes, who knows. But Flash, Superman and Lois and Batwoman, for example, would be aiming for like a mid-April ending, even though some dates have come out already that say early April, but I'd say mid-April. But if they want more episodes, they could extend into May, but most likely April. And this is sort of attached to that last one, and that's how many episodes. Now, for The Flash, I think I've said this before, 18 is probably what they're going to be aiming for, but honestly, it depends just how the production wants to roll and everything like that, and how the studio wants to handle it. So 20 is a possibility. I would say 18 though. Superman and Lois has 13 episodes set at the current time. Like, that's on the press site. It says 13 episodes, but that's standard for a new show. Like, even if it was no COVID or anything, it would still say 13, and then they'd probably get extended, or they would get extended to 22. So it's standard for a new show to say 13, but I would assume that Superman and Lois will go up to 16 or 18. Probably 16, but maybe 18, and they'll announce that later on in the production. Now, this is something that I am curious to see how they handle, because it could be an issue, especially if they want to do a strong episode that requires this, and that's guest stars. Now, guest stars are obviously people that just show up for an episode. So we see with like Katie Sackhoff, for example, who plays Aminette Black. She'll come up for one episode, or even if like Captain Cole was in an episode previously and various things like that. If they're from America, pretty much guest stars are going to be a big issue, because it's going to be really hard to convince someone, and even for the studio to think to themselves, is it worth bringing someone up, put them in a hotel for 2 weeks to do quarantine, and then have them film for 3 days, and then they go back to America and they have to quarantine again when they get to America. No one's going to do that unless they're desperate for work, and then the studio would have to pay for the quarantine anyway. Would they be desperate enough for that person who is desperate for work? Probably not. So they're going to be scouting the Vancouver area for guest actors if they do them. So don't expect any of the usual guest stars you'd expect in episodes to show up. I guess it's good for The Flash, if some people might disagree with this, but obviously they upgraded Allegra and Chester P. Rung to series regulars, so they'll be flying up, I'd assume, on that start date. So they won't be classified as like guest actors or recurring guest, people throughout the season, because they'll be there to be regulars. So they won't have to do the constant quarantining and stuff like that. But it'll be interesting to see how they handle guest stars, if they even do them. But if they do, it's going to have to be local Vancouver actors, which have been in the show before, but usually they'll just get them from America. Now, this is the important thing to bring up, and I don't know if I've actually said this before. I don't think I have, because we haven't really had like a solid date to go off. But the thing with the shows is that they will just want to get as much as they can with the various seasons done as they can, because of what's happening in the world at the moment. They will just want to get as much done as they possibly can. I don't think they'll really have a goal, I think, for like the maximum amount. So I don't think the Warner Brothers are sitting there, or the Flash showrunners are sitting there going, okay, we're going to be aiming for 18. I think they'll probably just be aiming for like a minimum. So let's just try and get 14, 15 or 16 episodes done. And then if we get there, awesome. Like, I think that's what they're going to be trying to aim for. I think once they start, I don't think there's going to be a shutdown unless it spreads throughout set. Like if one person gets it, they'll just quarantine them off and then just test everyone. They'll do a lot of testing as they do filming, but they'll just be trying to get as much done as they possibly can. And then when we get back to normal scheduling for the following seasons to come, for example, Flash Season 8, for example, then they'll just go back to normal stuff. You know what I mean? But because of what's happened, they'll just be trying to get as much done as they possibly can, but also not set any expectations. But speaking of expectations, DC Fandom, the announcements are going to be fairly interesting for The Flash in particular, because they're the only show that could potentially show a trailer. I'm not talking about Arrowverse show, I'm talking about like any DC TV show. Like they're the only ones that I think could actually show a trailer because they actually have footage to show. Obviously, the issue with that is that there probably would be a decent amount of footage in that episode that was filmed of Hartley Sawyer as Ralph Dibny, so maybe they're going to completely redo that episode. Who knows what they're going to do, so they might not even show footage or a trailer from it. Who knows what they're going to do there, but I would be hoping that they maybe announce a villain to follow on from Mirror Master, because she's only meant to be in the first handful of episodes for next season, and then we're going to be getting someone else. So I wouldn't mind them announcing that, and that'd be some decent information to that we can chew off until the season starts shooting, or even just starts airing in general. So DC Fandom will be fairly interesting, but in regards to a TV aspect, I think The Flash is probably the show that's going to have the most to at least show visually, and maybe even just tell us in regards to a news aspect as well. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, it'd be awesome if you could drop a like on it to show support. Let me know in the comment section down below your various opinions on this. Just let me know your various opinions. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. What do you think? Do you have one thing you wish they would announce at DC Fandom in regards to The Flash? Let me know that. I'll be curious. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.